The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What's up? It's time for Cowboys Storyline. I am Nick Eatman here. It's Wednesday, November the 15th. Let's get this thing rolling. Cowboys 6-3, taking on the Carolina Panthers on Sunday in Carolina. It's not a place we've been to a whole lot, but ironically, the Cowboys and Panthers have some pretty memorable games. Some of them favorable for Carolina, a couple of playoff wins there, but they have a decent history of games, and I think we're actually going to highlight that on our website, on our Rank 'em. Kurt Daniels does a nice job of doing that every week. 10 memorable moments in whether it be in series history or maybe it's Monday night games or after the bye, depending on what we've got. I think it is 10 games against the Panthers, and they have some pretty memorable ones in this series, and so it's always a fun place to go to, and a good press box, as long as you don't eat too many donuts. I did that once, ended up with pink eye at halftime. It happened. Real story, 2007. But other than that, pretty good place to be. Let's see if the Cowboys can get to 7-3. Let's hear from you guys. 888-855-2297. You can text at 817-290-3298. Let's don't waste any more time. Let's get right to the phone lines. Dylan in Northport, Florida, you're leading off. What's up?
Hey, man. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good, man. Feeling good. This is my last call of the week. I'm heading up to Disney tomorrow.
Can't call?
Got those tablets charging.
Can't call from Disney? Call from the line.
I don't know if you want to hear these kids in the car tomorrow, man. I don't know what they might be asleep and screaming. Who knows?
No, I hear you. Well, good luck with that. That is quite the journey. I'm glad my analogy actually played out true to you this week, and feel sorry for your wallet because I'm sure it won't be cheap, but it'll be fun. It'll be a good memory.
Tell me about it. Yeah. And I hope that Dak Prescott 2023 Super Bowl MVP ends up there too at the end of it, and we'll see.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. What do you got?
I just want to give you my score prediction, I guess, here, since this will be my last call, and then I just want to hand out some flowers for this season so far.
All right.
Real quick, too, yesterday, Rob asked favorite team. Mine was the 2014 Cowboys. That was a special season. It was the second time, the last time I've cried over a football game. Seeing Romo in that tunnel in the end with his family, all huddled up, that was hard to see. And it got stolen from them, honestly. Who knows what Aaron Rodgers would have done with the ball after that, but that could have been Romo's defining moment in his career, and it was taken. So unfortunate.
True. That was a fun team. And I think what makes those seasons fun is kind of like any movie you've ever seen about sports movies. I mean, what happens at the first of the sports movie? They suck, right? They're not very good. This is going to be a bad year, whatever. And then, all of a sudden, Jimmy Chipwood joins the Hoosiers, and then they win, and they win state. That season started out against the 49ers, and it was a sea of red, literally, and they couldn't beat the Niners, and Romo got hurt, and it looked bad, and it was like, this is going to be a bad year, and then, boom, they take off. So, it was a movie that had a bad ending.
It's horrible. It was a nightmare ending, and that was next level Romo. He was a field general at that point in his career. Man, he's never played like that in his career. That was the best he's ever been.
I agree.
So, bold prediction for this week, man. I got Tony Pollard hasn't scored since week 1. He's going to get 2 touchdowns this week from at least 15 yards out.
All right, that'd be nice to see.
We'll see less Pollard, but it'll be a better performance than what we're used to seeing.
All right.
Panthers haven't scored more than 15 points the last 3 weeks, so that'll keep going. That trend will continue, and we'll go 31-10 Dallas.
All right, 31.
And then some flowers here, man. I'll go as quick as I can. I got a couple of them.
All right.
Just want to shout out Jerry, Steven, and Will. They've put together a competitive team for as long as I can remember. They've been out of rebuild mode for a very long time. This team, I don't know the last season that we've gone into a year. It's like, man, this team might finish 8-8. Like, they don't have anything going here. There's no talent. Hasn't been that way in a very long time, and they get a lot of the blame when stuff goes wrong, and I don't hear a lot of their names mentioned when things are going right. So I just want to give them a shout-out for building a super deep team. We have some key injuries like Trayvon, and we're surviving, and we're not only survive, we're thriving as well with guys like Bland. So shout-out to them for building this team. McCarthy, year started out bad on offense, and he recognized that something needed to change, and after that 49ers game, he really cut Dak loose, and we're seeing a big development in this offense now. Just hopefully we can get that running game going. Maybe we see a little more Dowdle, and that helps with that. But this offense is like night and day from what it was just a few weeks ago.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
And then, hey, last one, man. I just want to give you some flowers too. You and Derek and Chris too. Chris is back there. He's killing it.
Yep.
Shout out to him. And then you and Derek, dude. I've been listening to you guys for a long, long time. And what you guys have said over the years, you've kind of shaped me, I think, into the fan I am today. I was a young man, started listening to you guys, and I hear myself saying things that you guys say, having the kind of attitude that you guys have when I'm talking to other fans, and I'm like, yep, there goes my inner Nick, there goes my inner Derek, and other guys too, Hellman and Nicky Spags and Broados. All you guys are great, so I appreciate all the work you've done over the years, man. Keep it up.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and thanks for saying that. And yeah, I'll take the flowers. I'll put them right here. Appreciate that, Dylan. Yeah, I mean, that could be a scary thing, to your inner Derek or inner Nick or whatever. But I mean, everybody kind of has their own perspective, and I think that's what kind of makes these podcasts fun and unique, is that you can listen to one, looking at the whole lineup here. It's just a different perspective each week, and that's what was fun about being on the break, is just that it was always different. Derek and I see it differently sometimes, but for the most part, we have the same view on a lot of things, and that's probably us just sitting next to each other at every single game for the last 20-something years. But yeah, it's fun, and I appreciate it. Appreciate the call. Thank you so much. A lot of good stuff there. All right, let's keep rolling here. Irene in Virginia is our next caller. Irene, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi.
Hey, it's Irene from Falls Church, Virginia.
How you doing?
Good. I'm on the air, right?
You are. You're right.
Okay.
You're rolling. Let's do this.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, first time caller.
All right. I've met you before, right? I've met you at a Washington game, right?
You did. Yeah.
All right.
You
Okay.
And I'm hoping I don't sound as awkward as I did there, because I used to work security. I'm in real estate now. I used to work security, and I've never been more starstruck than seeing you all and the team. I mean, I've escorted random people, celebrities, and it didn't hit me. So anyway.
Yeah. You all and the team. That's awesome.
Well, it's weird. You guys, I mean, you said 25 years, right?
Right.
I feel like we get to know you guys even more. The players don't really last that long, unfortunately. But
cool.
So I've been listening to since before this show, obviously, other shows, and following you. I was nervous though when you were off the break. I was like, so I resisted the first couple of weeks because I was so nervous. But the show's been awesome, so thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys have helping me get through this first year. It's been a lot of fun, and the first few episodes out in Oxnard were didn't have the fans. I had players, which was good too. So kind of wondering how it's going to be when I get back to Oxnard next year. We'll have players again and less from the fans. Unless you guys just want to come out to Oxnard, hey. I'll put you on the air.
That's awesome. But the players were great too in the summer.
Sure.
All right, start with this. Bret the Hitman Hart. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
I just got done watching a documentary not too long ago on the Montreal Screwjob. I just saw that. Man.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, too, because it's like wrestling's fake, whatever, but it's still a business, and that was an interesting documentary if you haven't seen that one.
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a wrestling fan as much anymore because of that. So.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay, for me, I wrote down notes like the caller from yesterday said. So for me, the most iconic, so I'm 37, so, sometimes people are like, oh, your team with the 90s. I'm like, that was my dad and brother's team.
Right.
I rooted for them. I did see some Super Bowls as a child, but, that Emmitt Smith shoulder game, though, is one of the most vivid memories I have. And he was my favorite player growing up, but I will say, as the team became more my own as I got older, it became Darren Woodson because he was like the only one there. Him and I guess George Teague, I think, lasted for a while. as he started to get into the 2000s. But he's my guy for that. Idea for a topic maybe in the off season is having people talk about how they became fans. Yeah, and then I don't think I have a question for you because I was like, I have too many comments. So
that's okay.
I'll try to call in more often, though.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks so much, Irene. Thank you for the call. And that Emmett shoulder game, hey, Chris Bean, what do you think we should do a documentary on that game? We have. We actually did do one on that a few years ago. Chris and I worked a lot of long hours at training camp getting that documentary out. It was nominated for an Emmy. We did not win it, but we were really proud of it. Called The Cold Shoulder. As Emmett gave the Giants the cold shoulder on that day in January, helped them win a championship. Good stuff there. Let's go to some text questions here. Doug from Florida. What will be the focus for the Carolina game? Continue to work on the run game. I like the idea of sharing the carries. Seem to work well, but need to see more than once. So, I think so. I mean, I think this is a game that you can run the ball. I mean, I think Carolina's stats are a little deceiving. They're only, I think they're like 5th or 6th in the league in passing yards against them. But then again, they're 1-8, and teams are winning by a decent margin there. So they're not all close games. So you're obviously not going to be throwing the ball at a high level at the end of the game. So that could be some of it. But still, I think teams have been able to run the ball, and this could be a good week that they do that. Another one, Dan from Philly. He wants a birthday shout out for his wife, Michelle. Happy birthday, Michelle. Thanks for listening, and Dan, obviously, or letting Dan listen as well. This is your day. You guys have a great one. Happy birthday to Michelle. Another storyline. This is from Jeff in Mount Airy, Maryland. He said, good morning, Sunday at Carolina. Home game for the Cowboys, ? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it'll be a lot of Cowboy fans. I don't know about home game, but certainly will be a lot of Cowboy fans there. His greatest of all time, he says, throwback is Jay Saldy. Nice. Random is Pepe Zellner. Love that one. And favorite wrestler, King Kong Bundy. Good stuff. I love Pepe Zellner. I thought he was going to be better. I mean, he was a get off the bus guy. I mean, get him first off the bus, you're like, dang, like, just not like he was tall, but not like the biggest, but just like mean, like really when he had that switch, it would be pretty good. Random fact. This is how my mind works. This is I think it was 2000. The Cowboys had 4 players on the team that had Zell in their name. Zell. 4 players. Zell. One of them was Pepe Zellner. Maybe you guys can get some of the others as we go through the show. All right, Curtis in Oklahoma, you're next.
Hey, good morning.
What's up?
Not much. Just thought I'd call in, and represent for Oklahoma today.
All right. I lived there. I lived there for about 7 years. I lived in Oklahoma.
I was going to ask where you lived at.
Miami. It's not Miami. It's spelled like Miami, but it's Miami. Very, very northeast corner in Oklahoma. Lived there for about 7 years, about most of my 80s life in Oklahoma.
You got to get that right.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Not to be confused with Miami. A little bit different. Been to both. Different places, for sure.
Just a few things I wanted to say is I want to see black uniforms.
Okay.
Black pants, black jersey, black helmet.
On who? Like Colorado or like on the Cowboys?
No. For the Cowboys, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll throw my all-time great Cowboys out there. When I was younger, I lived in Kansas City, and it was Dion. Like seeing him high step to the end zone and dancing, in his touchdowns, really resonated with me. But now that I'm older, it's Troy Aikman. And I just remember seeing a clip of him on the sideline, like just ripping people out, like, these people don't care and these people don't give an F and coaches aren't giving an F and we got to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's talking about Switzer. It's what he was talking about for sure. Yeah.
I think that's a little more my temperament now that I'm older.
What's so funny about that? I know you have other questions too. I'll just say this. I was walking past. They have if you've ever been to the Star here in Frisco, it's pretty awesome. And they have tours that they give out. Walking around, and part of the tour is they show scouting reports. They actually actually have the scouting reports of certain players. It turns to the page. It's the real scouting report, written by Jim Garrett, Jason Garrett's dad, who was a longtime scout, on Troy Aikman. And one of his scouting report things that he put in there coming out of college was that a negative is that he's too hard on himself. He thinks every pass should be a perfect pass, and if it's not, then he spends hours and hours trying to correct it. I'm like, that's a negative? Like that. But
right.
That was his negative right there. So that seems like a guy that might be in the Hall of Fame one day, which he certainly turned out to be. So what else you got, Curtis?
I was just surprised when it came to random players that nobody said Taco, and that's all I got.
Yeah, no, they didn't. No one said that. I think he doesn't have that that fun-loving, like, oh, remember Taco? Remember? No, not so much. But to this day, I think if his name was Michael, Michael Charlton, I don't think he would be a first-round pick. I don't know. I'm not saying that. I just think there was something about the novelty of the whole thing, and he was a decent, good size and all that stuff. Let's go get Taco Charlton, and it just didn't work out. All right, Sebastian in Savannah, Georgia. Sebastian, what's up?
Good morning, Mr. How you doing there, Mr. Eamon?
Good. How are you?
Doing very well. Hanging with the Boys used to be the People Show, man. It's pretty much changed corners now. I love that you guys gave a voice to the voiceless.
What now? What'd you say?
I said Hanging with the Boys used to be the People Show. I said it's pretty much a changing of the tides after this. Storylines came out. I love that you guys gave the people a voice. There's some really wise voices out there.
Well,
I have a question for you.
Go ahead, Sebastian.
Yeah, my question is this. You've been around for a couple of regimes now.
Okay.
And I would like to know how you would say the cultural shift has happened with Mike McCarthy's team versus some of the past teams. One thing that I really like is he allows young players to play. Mm-hmm. Something that I always thought hurt in the Jason Garrett era was they were very veteran dominant. And you've been here for a couple changing of the tides now. I'd like to know how he compares to some of the other regimes that you've lived through. And you have a great day, and I'll listen.
All right, thank you. You know what? Someone asked a similar question yesterday, and just to compare the two, and it was harder than I thought. Just to sit down and think about the differences, because yes, coaches are different, but overall, it's kind of the same. The mindset and the philosophy hasn't really changed. And so when you think about things that you see, and Will McClay's been here for a lot of years, obviously Jerry and Steven. So this is kind of, not to steal Montel's line, but this is how we do it. I mean, it's kind of like that. And then from a coach's, from a philosophy standpoint, players that they bring in, one thing that I think is noticeably different between the two is that McCarthy, having been in the league, from another team, see, that's something Jason Garrett, he wasn't. I think he was with the Dolphins for a couple of years, but he was with the Cowboys for a long time. McCarthy saw it from a different perspective. And so when there were players, veteran guys, you see the Cowboys get a lot more of these veteran players from other teams, moves that they would never kind of make before. But the last few years, I don't think the Garrett team would have just picked up Anthony Barr, or Jason Peters or Xavier Rhodes, or just guys like that, big names you typically don't get. But this guy's played against them, he played against them for a long time, and having Dan Quinn in, things like that. So that's another thing that you saw a lot of head coaches on the staff too. When McCarthy first got here, I think there was 5 guys that had been head coach at other teams before. So that's just a lot of experience, a lot of leadership. Those are good questions though, and it's really not one to just sit there and kind of spout off here in a few minutes. A little bit more philosophical. Hope I answered it well, but I don't know about that one. All right, let's go to Doug in Springfield, Illinois. Doug, what's up?
Hey, Nick.
Hi.
How you doing, Nick?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Congratulations on your show, man.
Appreciate it. Is this first time call?
First time call,
All right.
yeah.
First time.
Yeah,
We're going to create a drop. Bean, we got to create a drop for first time calls. What now? You've been to the new stadium?
I was there in 2009. I saw that awesome 7-6 win over the Redskins. My comment is this: after watching the struggles with Steele, especially during the Eagles game, I was having flashbacks to Chaz Green, and I was hoping that they just stick somebody out there to help him out a little bit, especially on the last few drives. They knew he was struggling, and that's just an adjustment I hope they make going forward. If they start seeing a situation like that occur, that they'll give the guy a little help. I mean, maybe it would have been a different outcome if they just have somebody chip there a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything's as bad as that game. The Chad Green. I mean, it's okay to have the flashbacks,
sure.
but it wasn't that. Okay, that was just completely. I mean, the Eagles, the guy who was blocking is going to be in the Pro Bowl. I mean, like Reddick. I mean, he's a great player, and he was a great player before this game. The guy. Do you remember the guy that had 6 sacks against Chad Green? Do you remember who it was? See, I
can't think of his name right now.
And that's the problem. That's why it was so bad. It wasn't a guy that
Adrian Claiborne.
Okay, yeah. It sure was Adrian Claiborne. I think he had 8 sacks on the year and 6 in that game. So
right.
That's kind of an issue. It's not like you're giving up 6 sacks to Lawrence Taylor here, even though he looked like it in that game. So yeah, I mean, I get it. They could have helped a little bit more. It's tough because you want to get all these guys involved. You want to move the football, move the chains. This is kind of what you have, and so by doing that, it shifts the offense a little bit, but. It had to be done. It needed to be done because they've got playmakers. If you shore up this offensive line, I think Cooks can get open for sure. Gallup, obviously CD. I think it's more important to make sure the line is shored up, and then from there you go and let your playmakers play.
Hey, and I love the direction they're going. I really do. I think they've kind of hit their stride at the right time, and it's looking good. Not going to ruin my turkey this year with the Commanders, and DC for life, baby. Like I said, Congratulations on the show, Nick. It's great.
Thank you. Appreciate that for the first-time caller. Thank you. That is Doug in Illinois. All right, let's keep it going here. We've got Bruce in Houston. Bruce.
Hey, Nick. Good morning. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I want to first give a shout-out to all the listeners. Cowboys. I've been a Cowboy fan since '65, so that's how old I am.
Mm-hmm.
And through the years, when Staubach and Landry were there, they were docile Cowboy fans, but obviously the social media has made that different, but especially here in Houston. I mean, Cowboy fans are hated, because of the Oilers and all that stuff, but that's a whole different story. But it seems like Cowboy fans always get, they're obnoxious and it's all about them and we're always going to the Super Bowl. But I tell you, listening to your listeners, and I include myself there as well, they're very, articulate, and they ask good questions. I've been really impressed. I wish some of the other people would hear this, but
yeah.
So
me too.
Kudos to all those that are calling me. Yeah,
me too. I'll say this: I've been very impressed as well, and the fans are. I mean, there's some smart fans. Out here.
Sure.
You guys know. I mean, I feel I'm a fan of my team. I feel like I'm a smart fan of my team. What's going on? And the same goes here. And I've learned a lot. This has really helped me. This year has really helped me because it gives me an idea of. Yeah, you might think about this perspective and you talk to other media people and people on our podcast, but you really get a good pulse of what's going on from the fans' perspective as well, and which isn't wrong because when you think about it, the podcast that we do, the articles we write for, it's for the fans. It's for you guys. And so it's great for me to understand, it's only 10 to 12, 15, maybe opinions a day, but it adds up over time, and you kind of get a good idea of what's going on. So I appreciate it. Just as much as you guys appreciate it, saying thanks for the show, I say thank you because it's really helped me this year as well.
Well, and when I'm watching the game, sometimes I go to blogging the boys, and then, they have that constant thread going on, man. Some of the fans, I don't know if they're drinking or not, but, man, one play they want to fire everybody, and then the next they want to, hand them the keys to the kingdom. But and that's fans. That's why they're called fanatics.
I mean, that's what happens. Yeah.
And, though, as far as the running, I want to see it's been talked ad nauseum about Pollard being the bell cow. Well, he's not a bell cow. That's just not what he is. And I still think he's hurting from that injury. But when you combine the two players together with their numbers, that's, I don't know where they'd be on the, yards-wise to other players, but probably comparable. I mean, but I think Ron Jones was going to be that Ezekiel Elliott, if you will, tough yards. I don't know if he's still playing. I know they cut him because of the trouble, but I think that's what they initially had was maybe him going for the short yardage, just because that's where they're hurting inside the 5. But that's why I said a couple of weeks ago, man, I really want them to use a higher draft pick, maybe not first, but second or third for sure, and get a stud running back. I mean, that's what this team needs, and you're going to have to every 4 years. I'm sorry, that's just the nature of the position. They don't last more than 6 years. There's no more Emmitt Smith out there that lasts 12, and you just got to draft one every 4 years. I'm sorry, it is what it is. Unless the Players Association could change that to where it's every 3 years they can get a contract instead of 4 because
something needs to change. There's no doubt about it.
Good show, Nick.
Yeah, thank
See you later.
Thank you, Bruce. I agree. I think there's some things that need to happen for sure with the running back position because it's such a important position. It's very it's popular to fans and all that. And, it's tough because, the way the teams are just looking at it from a different perspective. But I think there's some things that the NFLPA and the NFL can do about that position. Maybe it's something to do with the amount of touches that you get, some kind of, because they do have performance bonuses, based off of what you're making and how much you played. Like, for instance, a guy like Deron Bland, he's probably going to get a performance bonus on top of his salary every year now because of he's 5th-round pick, second year. He's not making less. He's making less than $1 million in base salary. But look what he's doing. So you get performance bonuses there. Maybe they can do some kind of calculation on the amount of touches you get or snaps you're getting relative to that. Or there's got to be something I think that you can do because. It's a very, very high-profile position. It's just not getting paid the same, which is unfortunate. All right, I got some text message questions here. David from Fort Worth, would you really put someone on the show if they fly out to Oxnard because my family could use a vacation, LOL? We'll have to see about that. Here I am just throwing out, extra passes for people, but we can figure something out. We can figure something out on people, especially ones that are diehard listeners that are fans of the show. We can figure some fan portion of every day. Yeah, we'll let us work on that. Let's get through the season, figure that out. But I think David in Fort Worth's the one with the newborns, so he's already talking about vacation. Oh, okay, been there. All right, Chris in Wisconsin, reading this, Chris. I mean, I wonder, did I type this? Did I type this before, or is this from Chris in Wisconsin? Because this seems like something that I would write. He's got his favorite Cowboy in 88, Tutal Jones, and Tony Dorsett, which of course is mine. Favorite game of all time, 92 championship game against the Niners. Agreed. Favorite play, Alvin Harper's catch in that game. Agreed. Cowboys chose me after that catch in the 81 championship game. I can remember that game as well. I was about 6 years old, but I remember that game and just the fact that they had lost and it was tough. So I'm with you here. He's a huge Rocky fan, and his favorite wrestler is Thunder Lips, which is Hulk Hogan in Rocky 3. Chris, you and I need to hang out. I feel like we already have. Good stuff. All right. 7th caller we got is Nigel in Arizona. Nigel, what's up?
What's up, Nick? How you doing, bro?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well. Nice to hear your voice once again. Real simple, real quick. Red zone, right? Obviously, we're having these issues trying to punch the ball in. And I know you're not the magician who can answer everything, but my question is, why not Hunter? I mean, we drafted the guy as an all-around fullback. Once in a while you see him in there, but they never give him the ball. I think he's proved enough. I think he's tough enough. And, we've given it to Dowdle. We've given it to Pollard. Why don't we try giving it to Hunter? That's it. That's all I got for you today, Nick. Thanks, man.
All right, appreciate that. I kind of thought at some point they would give the ball to him a little bit more. I thought he would, have a role in the offense as a runner. I think they're still just kind of working through some things. I mean, Okay, let's be honest about Hunter Lipke now. He didn't just come into the league and preseason and all that and wasn't just lighting it up. Like the last game of the season is what you remember. Last preseason game, he had a couple of nice plays, and I think he made the team. I don't think he was on the team before that performance. I think it was very close. I mean, for the first couple of games, it looked like it was a little too big for him. So, but give him credit. I mean, it's North Dakota. I mean, or North Dakota State. I mean, and it's a transition from that to the NFL. So he's still working on some things. But I mean, I think they've got to figure out like what he is. Is he a big running back, or is he an undersized fullback? Because if he's going to play fullback, he's going to probably need to put on a few more pounds if that's going to be his role and be a blocker and kind of be a linebacker type body, if you will, for special teams, one of those core players, which he could do. Or do you want to keep him like he is and just let him develop more as a running back? So, he's a rookie. I mean, he's still working on things. I don't know if he's necessarily the answer. He's a bigger back, but remember, bigger backs take a little bit more time to get to that hole. That's always the question. Is it better to have a big back that can plow through people, or a quick back that gets the hole when it's there and hits it and then can get a few more yards as well? And that's the good thing about Zeke, because for most of his career, Zeke was able to do both and did it at a very, very high level. All right, some questions here. This is who we got. Mario from South Texas. He says, favorite player all time, Darren Woodson. Agreed. Random player, Chris Brazzell. He graduated from the same high school as me 12 years prior, caught a slant from Aikman and took it almost to the length of the field when he finally got a chance to play. His favorite wrestler is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Brandon Cook's production is sustainable. Is it sustainable, or was it a great matchup versus a bad defense? I think it is sustainable. He's a great player. This guy's been a great player at a lot of different stops. He knows how to get open. He knows how to work with. He's very friendly for each offense. So, yes, I think they can do that. I think they're figuring things out. Sure, it was not a good defense, but they put up a lot of points. That's a lot of yards, and everyone got a chance to get involved. So that was good about that. Chris Brazzell, interesting that you mentioned him, because what I said earlier about the 4 players on one team had Zell in their name, Chris Brazzell is one of them, as is Pepe Zellner. We've got 2 more to go. See if we can get those names mentioned at some point. All right. We got Ronnie in Jersey. What's up?
Hey, good morning, Nick. 11th or 12th time caller.
I think it's more than that, honestly.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, so I was like, let me just throw a number out there.
I like it. I like that. And you guys know, I love the first-time callers because that means we're adding and we're growing the show and all that stuff. I appreciate the 18th-time callers just as much. I really do. You need a combination of both. Just like veterans, you need rookies. You need to mix them all in together.
Hey, Nick, we could be calling every day, but I'm telling you, even for us, for the guys that have been calling, it's hard to get on. You got to I got to keep on hitting that button, 50 times before I get on the.
Well, you guys
go through.
You need the secret number, don't you? Do you not have the secret number?
No,
I'm just kidding. We don't. Beams in the back, like what? What the hell are you talking about? I'm just kidding. There's no secret number. 888-855-2297. That's been the number for a long time.
Oh, he dialed it like crazy.
Yep.
Nick, I was going to say, the one thing that I keep on seeing that I think we got to fix with this team is penalties, man. Like, they keep on committing penalties. In this game, it was a clean game in the first half, but the only reason we gave up that touchdown, I think it was because of the penalties. When they got the first touchdown, it was all penalties. Back to back. If they clean up those penalties, this is a good team. I mean, we could hang with anybody. I think we could beat those teams that we haven't been able to beat if we just play clean. That's all. The offensive line's starting to click, which is a great time of year. Like everybody always said, right? November is when you want to see you are who you are in November.
Mm-hmm.
And from this point on, if they just keep on, I don't agree with one of the callers. He said Tony Pollard shouldn't be the primary. We should start giving Dowdle the ball. No. Tony Pollard is our primary. you just got to. You got to use Tony Pollard the same way you used him last year and the year before that.
Well, hold up. I think what the caller said was that he's not a bell cow. He's not the guy that's going to get 30 carries. He's not you just keep giving him the ball, and he gets stronger as the game goes on. I think, and then that's kind of what you're saying. I think that's what he's saying. He is the lead back, but you got to be smart with him, and he needs a little bit more help than maybe some other number one backs get. I think that's what he's saying, and I think you're saying the same thing.
Exactly. You need that bruiser like we had with Zeke. Zeke was the bruiser, and Tony Pollard came in, and you saw
right.
different styles. And we have Dowdle is not as big as Zeke, but I mean, you see how he runs in between the tackles? This guy drags.
He runs hard. He runs hard. Runs angry. Yeah.
He hits people. He's not, I'm going to get hit and that's it. No, he keeps on. He fights for those yards. That's what I'm seeing. And aside from that, Nick, if one more thing I wanted to say, I know we've been. I like Dak. I admit I don't love Dak. I love Dak because he's in my team. That's it. But Dak, there was that one interception that he threw. It seemed like that was a predetermined pass when he threw it, because he threw it right into double coverage. And, man, that gave me a little flashback back to that 49ers game. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing it the same way? Like, it seemed like they were playing man, but they went into zone real quick. And as soon as he just threw it out there no matter what. Like, he just I mean, there's no way you can't see two guys in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, it was one. Thanks for the call, Ronnie. It was one from the press box. As soon as he threw it, you could kind of see like, this is bad, just because the defender had kind of a read on it from the start. One thing I think has always got to be important, and this isn't just a excuse for Dak or any quarterback, but you also got to remember, our view from the TV screen or even from the press box or whatever, this up high view, is not the same. Sometimes when you say this guy was wide open, he missed Ferguson right over the middle. You didn't see him. You had a guy right over here. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a hand right here. There's a reason why I didn't see him there. And we don't always look at that. You don't always look at what the vision of the quarterback is. It's not an excuse on Dak. There's times, the read is there. He went there. I mean, he missed them, kind of like the Cooks over the middle, against the Eagles with Schoonmaker there. I mean, I think if the read from the start was these guys are going to cross and he's going to be wide open, that's what I would have started with, and I think he would have been there for a touchdown. But sometimes you need to remember, same with the receiver. The guy's about to catch the ball, and it's like, how did he drop it? Well, the defender's hand, I mean, sometimes you got a view of what the player is seeing too. You got to be fair about that thing. I'm not saying that for this interception. That's just a point in general. Sometimes I think people need to remember that. All right, next caller we've got is Dallas in Duval.
That's me, Mr. Nick. How you doing?
Where's Duval?
Jacksonville.
Okay, got it. Oh, Jacksonville. I was thinking, what town is that? Got it. Jacksonville. Yeah, got you.
Florida. First time caller, long time listener.
Boom, love it.
First time caller, long time listener.
All right.
I got some. Oh, I like ding. Hey, all right.
Yeah,
I'm the first one to get it.
Yeah. When you say something that Chris approves of, boom. Like for instance, like the best producer we've ever had, Chris Bean.
It's
for
Chris
sure.
Bean. Right.
There you go.
All right.
He works his butt off.
I got a trivia thing. Well, it's not even trivia. It's just a fact here.
Okay, what do you got?
Romo started his game. His first career start was against Carolina in 2006.
Sure.
Romo's last game to start in the regular season was against Carolina, Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's when he got hurt.
That's his last start. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah. Sure.
Why did I not ever know that? I mean, that seems very.
I thought maybe you were gonna write about it. So, well, there you go. There's something to write about.
Maybe.
2015. That was his last start.
Yeah. Is Romo doing the game this week? Doubtful.
No, very doubtful.
This is like Fox's fifth crew, probably. I would think. Yeah, you never know. I could find
Actually, it's Greg Olson and them guys again.
Oh, he's just going home. This is the number one crew for Fox. But, of course, Olsen being a former Panther, I mean, when else is he going to go cover the game? So, yeah, that makes sense. Kind of.
And my favorite player on defense was he's like a I don't know. Every time I bring his name up to Mickey or Brian, they they change the subject. They don't talk about him. It's Jay Ratliff. He was one of my favorite players. He was mean. I never seen him smile. He started the gorilla stomp.
Mm-hmm.
He was the man. He was very, very, very mysterious. I love him.
Yeah.
And Parcells. And maybe you can bring this up to fans that wanted Pollard in last year, wanted him more because Zeke was old, Zeke was slow. It was everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they said the same thing when Randall came in for DeMarco. They said the same thing with when Felix, and they wanted Marion, they wanted Felix.
And
Felix,
on,
they wanted Marion.
and on. It's
they wanted Sherman.
Hambrick.
They wanted Hambrick. They wanted everybody. So
Yep.
just remember, I said it yesterday. Fresh legs get the baby. Fresh legs is the thing. So thank you again, and man, I love your show, man.
All right,
Keep
appreciate that. You're right about that. We say it a lot. The backup running back always gets the love, always has been. Doesn't matter what the running back has done in his career. It's what he can do now. And it's just something about when the guy comes in, he's fresh, he's ready. It's like it's almost like people look at it like a reliever that comes in baseball. Like, well, why don't we just pitch this guy? This guy comes in throwing 100. Well, because he's fresh and he's only going to play for a little bit. So, yeah, he can throw for 100. I mean, so it's a little different. Maybe that's not the best analogy, but it's just that a guy looks different when he's been sitting there for a while. Who can sustain it? We're finding out, with Tony Pollard, it's tougher to do that. I don't know if he's lost a step. I just think he gets hit a lot more than he has, and I think maybe he's a little bit better as a change of pace back comes in, but that's not the role that they have for him right now. All right, Reggie in Germany is our next caller. Reggie, what's up?
Hey, Chris, back at you. What's up, man?
What's up? I'm Nick, but that's okay.
Nick, I know. You know what happened? Because when I called in, Nick called me Nick. Chris called me Chris. And I said, no, Chris, I'm Reggie. You're Chris. So that's why when I got to you, I'm still thinking Chris. I'm sorry,
confused.
Nick.
I have no idea what's going on, but we've got Reggie in Germany. Okay. What's up, man?
Me too, man. I'm confused too. Listen, I'm calling with a suggestion for you.
All right.
You should ask the fans what made them a Cowboy fan.
That's the second time I've heard this today. I got this new idea. Reggie, let's start it off. Reggie.
Okay.
What made you a Cowboys fan? When did you become a Cowboys fan? Don't go too long on the story. Don't go too long. Just
No, I'm going to hit you real quick.
All right.
I became a Cowboys fan this way. My father finally got the color TV back in '67.
Okay.
That's how long I've been a Cowboy fan. And so my brother and I decided to pick teams to be fans of. My brother picked the team in green and gold, and I picked the team in blue and white.
Oregon? Yep.
No, that's Cowboys. Cowboys in blue and white, and he picked the Green Bay Packers.
Got it.
And so the game I remember is the Ice Bowl in '67. And I still hate Jerry Kramer to this day.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he dogged Jeff Opue. Everybody dogged Jeff Opue for that play. Jerry Kramer admitted years later that he was offside. He started early.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And it wasn't Jeff Rowe's fault. He couldn't get footing in the ice. And I cried over that game. So that's how I became a Cowboy fan. And I've been a Cowboy fan ever since.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So here's the question. Another question I got for you, Nick, real quick. Then I'll let you go.
Sure.
Do you guys talk to Jerry often? Because here's the deal. All those games are being played down in Germany. They're all being played down in the south of Germany, way far away from the north side of Germany. And Hamburg is the most beautiful city in Germany. It's got a lot of Cowboy fans, huge amount of Cowboy fans, and there's a gorgeous stadium called the AOL Arena to play the games, and we need to get some games up north. Not everything down south.
Okay.
We need to try and get some love, show some love up north for some games. So
okay.
I'm kind of stuttering today.
It's all right.
What's going on?
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for the call. I know, and thanks for being a fan way over there in Germany. Now he wants the north side Germany, not just in South Germany. Once spread it out a little bit. First time that they've played over there. I guess this is the second year they've played over there. But I don't know if that's a Jerry. I mean, Jerry is on the committee. He's a longtime owner. I mean, I'm sure he has a voice on it right now. I think right now they're excited to be over there and playing. Maybe they'll spread it around a little bit in Germany. But thanks for the call. Thanks for telling us when you became a fan and how. And that's tough to do. It's tough to do to be a Cowboy fan off a loss. That's the second time someone has said that. The catch and then also the Ice Bowl. Any game that has a name to it, like the catch game or the Ice Bowl game, nobody's got more names than the Raiders. The Raiders have about 7 games with names associated with them. But yeah, anytime you got those, are obviously memorable. They stick with you, good or bad. All right, Chris in Georgia is next.
All right. Hey, Nick, how you doing?
How you doing?
Good show.
First time caller?
Yes, sir. First time caller.
Boom. Love it.
All right. So I originally from New York. I've only been in Georgia. Well, I've been in Georgia about 14 years.
Okay.
But growing up in New York, being a Cowboys fan, not a really good thing. Caught a lot of flack for that. I'm 58, so I don't think I really had a choice as to who my team was going to be because my mom is from Texas. I actually got a lot of family in Wichita Falls.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, the Cowboys was my team by default.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite player, of course, the reason why I wore 33, Tony Dorsett, but also, what was the player, who wore 33 before Dorsett?
Dwayne Thomas.
Dwayne Thomas, good and gracious. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Mm-hmm.
But, and, in terms of Mike McCarthy, I think, because of this time of the season, it's been a while since he called plays, right?
Right.
So, I think he's kind of getting his sea legs under him, and maybe, he was a little rusty early on and really wasn't in tune with everything. But, I don't think it's so much the team getting, executing better in terms of that. I think he's calling better plays as opposed to just getting in a better groove and a better rhythm.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree. It takes a little bit of time. And also, it's not just about calling plays. It's also understanding the personnel that you have and calling toward them, figuring out what you have. His idea of what CeeDee Lamb was going into the season is probably not what it is right now. Even though he's been here his whole career, you're seeing what CeeDee can do with a Brandon Cooks and with what Jake Ferguson's doing. So these players are evolving, and it's probably changing the play calling. It's not just, well, now I'm getting the hang of it again. It's also, once you realize Jake Ferguson can make this play or this play, maybe we need to call it more, or maybe CD needs to have this play a little bit, or maybe Turpin now involved. So it's the evolving of the players and this offense just as much as it is getting back in the groove of calling plays.
Right, I agree. But I'll hang up for taking my call. Have a great day.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Good stuff. All right, well, that'll do it for our show today. I was talking about the 4 players on the team at once that had Zell in their name. Pepe Zellner was mentioned, and Chris Brazel. Beam, do you know the other 2? He's busy doing other stuff. But
I don't.
You don't? Well, one of them's name is Flozell Adams. Flozell. And then along those lines, we had a safety by the name of Izell Reese. Pepe Zellner, Flozell Adams, Izell Reese, Chris Brazel, all at once. That is why I was not a good student in school, because my mind works like that instead of caring about American history or whatever. But speaking of, geography, Florida and Georgia with the tie today. Both had 2 callers from Florida and Georgia. Of course, we said it before, Germany should count twice, so we'll put them in as a tie since they called from overseas. Great stuff. 11 calls, a lot of texts. You guys were awesome. As always, we'll be back tomorrow to talk more talk a little bit more about Cowboys and Panthers. And anything else you want to talk about, we're here for it. For Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you tomorrow on Cowboy Storyline. See you later.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!